the IQ panel is perfect in a commercial setting.
And the first reason being Power G?
Power G, absolutely. Power G has not only been used in commercial settings for years now, and it's almost become the standard for commercial encryption, long range, frequency hopping, all those things we've talked about in previous videos about Power G. Power G is incredibly powerful, and because it was being used in commercial settings already on other platforms, having it on the IQ panel made it natural for people who wanted a more modern, sleeker, more feature-packed system to be able to provide that to their customers without having to change out the sensors. So Power G is an excellent reason why you should use it in a commercial setting. But it's more than Power G. There's also Z-Wave. Of course, Z-Wave devices are becoming more and more popular in commercial settings. People want to have the controls of energy monitoring that thermostats can provide, automatic lighting, and in some cases where you can use like the Yale Next Touch lever or a quick set lever or things like that, you can actually use a door lock on your commercial door. In fact, our door here.
That's what I was going to say. We use that every day.
Yeah, we've got a quick set lever on the front door, and that works just fine for us to enter and exit through the office. We don't have to worry about giving out keys or things like that. We had keys to start with, but with as many people as in our office,
gets hard.
It would get hard, and people would lose a key, or can you do it? So having that code-based locking and unlocking is really nice, especially for employees and especially for businesses that have employee fluctuation. So, you've let one employee go. Instead of saying, give me your key, you can instead just deactivate the code. So employee management becomes really, really easy too.
Yep.
Another great thing about using the IQ panel in a commercial setting is disarmed photos. Having a disarmed photo of your employees as they come in every day, you know what time they opened the store or got into the office. You can see a picture of them. Did they bring a friend? It's really powerful to be able to see that as a business owner or a business manager.
Definitely.
Now, a lot of businesses are hardwire. We've had the Hardwire 16 in market for a long time, and it's been easy for people to take their hardwired systems and add in an IQ panel to that. But then there's also all the features that Alarm.com brings to the commercial setting too, like auto arming. If I'm leaving the office for the day or leaving the business for the day and I forget to arm the system, in a commercial setting you can have the option to actually turn on auto arming, and the system will automatically arm each night at a certain time, automatically disarm at a certain time each morning.
And you could do automation rules as well, right?
Certainly.
So it's the same thing when you leave, maybe turning down your thermostat, making sure that door is locked.
All of those things add in to make this a really, really powerful commercial platform. So there's some things in the 2.3 software update that really make the IQ panel just the perfect solution for commercial. The first one being partitions.
And what exactly are partitions?
Partitions are the idea that you can basically have 4 mini security systems within the same panel. So let's take, for example, a building that has a retail space in the front.
Okay.
And then next it has like an office area, and then it has like a warehouse. Okay. You could do 3 partitions. The first partition being that front retail area, and the building owner could give access to the retail employee that comes in and works in that area, access to that partition. So when they disarm, they come through the front door, disarm the system. It will only disarm that front system, and the office stays secure and the warehouse stays secure.
So you have to have a user code, then, it sounds like, to access a specific user code. So if I worked in the warehouse, I might not have access to that front space.
Correct. You can assign each user code which partitions they should have access to. So the building manager or the owner might have access to all 3 partitions, and when you set up that user on the screen, you can do check boxes, touch the check boxes next to which partitions he or she should have access to. But additionally, like the warehouse employee, maybe they're not supposed to come out into the retail space, or maybe they're not supposed to go into the office. In that case, they might have access to the warehouse and the retail, but not the office. So you can check and add or delete access to a particular partition for each individual user. So it really is an expanded way to control the users and control the access within the building.
Perfect.
Yeah. The other thing that's nice about partitions is we have a new screen lock feature. So on the IQ panel, everything is all swipe and touch based. You can actually type in your code, and whatever your code is and what access you have will be what you see. So if I have access to all the partitions, when I type in my code, then it would unlock and all the partitions, all the settings, all the everything would be visible to me. If Kelsey only has access to partition 1, for example, then when she types in her code into the screen, it will only show partition 1. It would not even show partition 2, partition 3.
Something else I was going to ask is, there's 6 digits.
Yeah, that's another addition. So we actually made it so there's 6-digit passcodes as an option instead of 4. You can still do 4, but you can also do 6-digit passcodes for some enhanced security.
Perfect.
So if I go to screen lock, you can see 6 digits here. If I type in the installer code, which is now 6 ones, if I've got 6-digit passcodes enabled, okay, now I see everything that installer can see. Not only can I see the stuff that installer can see, but now when I go into advanced settings, I no longer need to type in the installer code.
Because you already did it?
I already authenticated.
Perfect.
Yep, that's exactly right. Now, if I go in and I can click here, there's a shortcut to lock the screen. If I go into the dealer settings, then you're going to see something different in there as well. So now I can see everything that the dealer could see, okay? And when I go into settings and advanced settings, I can see the dealer settings, which includes dealer branding and things like that. So it's a really nice way. Again, you just swipe down and you can click lock screen and it will lock the screen.
Does the screen lock after a certain amount of time, like our phones do?
Yes, actually the screen will lock the same way it would for photo frame. So when it goes into photo frame, it automatically locks. Now, if you want to manually lock it, let's say you're walking up to the panel, you've used the panel for what you need to do, and then you want to walk away. Instead of leaving it there to time out for 5 minutes, simply touch this button on the side of the screen.
Oh, perfect.
Puts it to sleep. Next time you wake it up,
it's
screen lock is there, and you gotta type in your code.
That's great.
So it's a nice way to secure the system and then be able to access it. Now let's take a look at how partitions have actually been enabled on the IQ panel.
Yeah.
Similar to the way locks and lights and things like that are all scrolling up and down. So to get to a new page, you scroll over to get to your locks. You scroll over to get to your lights, your cameras, things like that. Okay. To get additional things, you swipe up. So here's partitions, and you swipe up and down. Office,
and it looks like there's
warehouse.
dots, right?
That's correct. These dots correspond to the number of partitions you have, up to 4. And not only do they correspond to those dots, but if you look, what's different about those dots? Are they black or are they?
They're green?
They're green. Okay, watch this.
I didn't know if that was a trick question.
So, for example, if I were to arm the warehouse right now in stay mode, you can see it there. Look at the button.
It's now red.
The dot is an orange color to match the arm stay. Okay,
I guess
if it was armed, if it was armed in away mode, it would be in red. So it actually corresponds. So from a quick glance, you can actually see which partitions are armed and which are not.
Perfect.
And
so
you can
it's
see if I swipe up, my office is still disarmed, but the warehouse is now armed.
Okay.
So pretty nice little enhancement.
Perfect.
So partitions are great. You know, whether you're doing this for a home and you want to use a separate office, a home office that now needs to be armed separately from the rest of the house, or it's a business where they've got a warehouse space and an office space and a retail space or any number of things. Maybe it's a legal office and they've got multiple legal offices with files and things like that that shouldn't be accessed by different people. You know, whatever the case is, this is a fantastic solution for commercial.
So my question is, do you put this in the middle of all of those places, or does the IQ remote also work with partitions?
Really good
so
question.
they don't have to all go to the same place,
Really good question.
may not have access?
Yep. The answer is you can support up to 3 remotes for a total of 4 panels, basically, an IQ panel and then an IQ remote on the IQ panel. And each of those would need to be assigned to a partition. Now, the primary can have all the partitions because based on what code you're doing in.
Yep.
A secondary tablet would be assigned to a specific partition.
Okay.
So if you put a secondary tablet in the warehouse, you would assign that to partition 3.
And then
it would only ever have access to partition 3.
Perfect.
Okay?
That makes it easy.
The other nice thing about this is, as part of the expanded Power G support with commercial support, we've actually added in the Power G Keypad. And I wish I had one of those here to show you, but the Power G Keypad is a nice secondary tablet for, not tablet, but a secondary keypad for a commercial setting where you can't get Wi-Fi all the way out. So let's say you got that big warehouse way far out, the Wi-Fi can't reach it, so you couldn't put an IQ remote there. You could put a Power G Keypad there instead.
Perfect, because of that long range.
Exactly, and it's not using Wi-Fi, it's using Power G to communicate, and that's just got tremendous range.
That's
and that
exciting.
ability to avoid any interference that comes in. So, you know, between partitions, the screen lock, the 6-digit passcodes, expanded Z-Wave support, you can now do up to 10 thermostats and 20 locks. You've got, you know, the same Power G and live view videos. I mean, there's so many reasons why this is a great commercial panel. Live view. I mean, if you put cameras in a commercial setting, which a lot of people want those, you can view those right from the screen and be able to keep an eye on the retail space. If I'm a manager and I've got the IQ panel on the wall in my office, I can go to my live view and check on the cameras without having to do something different. It's just literally just right there at my fingertips.
Yep.
Or from my phone, all the above. So it's really, really powerful way of doing things. Another thing we didn't mention, it's a nice little side note, is there is a default set of names when you pair sensors that are front door, back door, living room, things like that. There's a toggle in here that actually changes those to all commercial names. So it'll things like warehouse door and supply room.
You have the office.
Yeah, office.
Like
all default office names. You can still type in custom names, and the panel will speak it through custom text to speech. But now you've got default commercial names to make things a little faster and easier during the installation process. So again, the best panel you can sell for a commercial scenario is the IQ panel, Power G, expanded Z-Wave support, live view videos, hardwire compatibility, disarm photos for your employees, great user management, the ability to lock people out of the system easily if and when they decide to leave the company, the ability to add new people easily without having to go and get a key cut, all the features that come with Alarm.com's commercial support, up to 4 partitions with screen lock, default commercial names, 6-digit passcodes. It's just the best commercial
The list
panel.
goes on.
The list goes on.
Basically.
This is the best panel you can buy for commercial support. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoy your time.